A young Chinese maiden disguises herself as a male warrior in order to save her father. What's going on, Flix Talkers? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you guys are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe and bell notification today, as I like to talk about movies and movie news content. All right, guys, so the live action of Mulan did come out September 4th, 2020. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 55 minutes, and it is PG-13. And this film is directed by Nikki Caro, who also did The Whale Rider and North County. All right, guys, now this film is the latest installment in the Disney live action series, meaning that these are the films that get adapted from live animated films that we kind of grew up on from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond into this cinematic universe of Disney live action films. And this is the latest that was slated for theaters, but unfortunately, due to the pandemic, it did get pushed to select theaters and international select theaters, as well as into our homes on Disney Plus, but for an expensive premium, I would say, in my eyes, and that kind of leads to a lot of people having a sour taste left in their mouth. Now, not only did you guys have to have Disney Plus as a streaming service that you are already paying for monthly, but there was a $30 premium to rent the film of Mulan along with the service. And once again, that left a sour taste in people's mouth. And honestly, if it's my belief, I think it did sway the reviews a bit. All right, guys, so let me just jump directly into my likes of the movie first. Now, aesthetically, this movie is fantastic. The budget obviously went to creating this world of Mulan that was centered in parts of China throughout the whole film. And we get to see that, just displayed in the wardrobe, the costume design, everything about this, like I said, is aesthetically pleasing. A lot of the camera work and big wide panning out shots really kind of immerse you into this timepiece where it does show that there was a lot of war, more of a simple life where people are just gathering and just building things with their hands, a lot of warrior battles as well. And like I said, thanks to the panning shots of this landscape that we're introduced to in past China, we're actually pretty sucked into this world of Mulan. Now, another like of mine, guys, was the subject nature. Now, I'm someone that's coming off of not seeing the animated film. I know I'm in the minority. A lot of people grew up with this animated film in the 90s. I unfortunately did not catch it growing up, guys. I believe my sister did, my younger sister possibly, but for whatever reason, I did not see it, so I don't understand the context too much or how much they lifted from the animated cartoon. The only thing I did hear whispers of when this film was being created is that they weren't going to implement some of the dragons or side characters that were, I guess, too hard to make or whatever, for whatever reason, and they were no longer in this film because of that. So jumping back to my like, guys, was the whole story, the aspect element of Mulan really wanting to fight. They kind of let it be apparent right off the bat that she does have a warrior spirit inside, but her father and her family let her know that it's not her place as a woman to even show any hints of wanting to be a warrior. If you're showing any hints of being anything than a stay-at-home mom or someone that's just there to procreate pretty much, you're not honoring your family whatsoever, and that's very, very frowned upon. Another like of mine was when we got finally to the nitty gritty of the fighting warrior battle scenes. I loved a lot of the choreography. Of course, there are some things that will jump to my dislikes about the choreography, but for the most part, I really did enjoy it. A lot of the hand-to-hand combat, not a lot of shaky cam at all. It was kind of quick cuts, but it was in your face and it seemed very, very realistic, or just things that kind of appease and appeal to my nature of watching martial arts films. I grew up on that stuff, so I just related it to this movie that I was watching, which had elements of that thrown in, and I thought it was beautifully executed. So in that light, I do like what I saw on the choreography front. And last but not least is the actual character of Mulan, played by Yifei Liu. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that, guys. I thought she was fantastic. She was someone that definitely had heart, and when the emotional scenes kind of kicked in, she had it. She had me kind of on all emotional levels, as well as rooting for her towards the end of the movie. And that's what you want in a character in the forefront. Now, also, I will not neglect the side characters, the co-stars of this film, Jet Li being the Emperor, Donnie Yen as the Commander, as well as Li Gong, who plays the Witch, as well as Jason Scott Lee, who plays Bori Khan. And he was fantastic. I haven't seen this guy in so many decades, so it was great to see him on screen, and he was menacing as someone that was a rival to the group that they were fighting against. So that was awesome seeing all of those scenes. Now, jumping to my dislikes of the movie, guys. Now, like I had said before, I had not seen the animated film, so I don't know the context of some of these creatures. There was CGI eagles, CGI phoenixes, and the thing that kind of sucked me out, even CGI rabbits running alongside of the horse at one scene. And it really drew me out because this is something I believe that was like a $200 million budget, and it did not look like that at certain parts of this film, and it really kind of, man, it did itself as a disservice by showing a lot of that bad CGI. So that really did suck me out at some points. Now, another dislike of mine, guys, jumping back to the choreography. Like I said, I liked a lot of the elements of it, but then they threw in only what I can call the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style, where people are defying gravity. They're just kind of lifting off the ground, running up the side of walls, or pushing off of things and just elevating 11 feet up in the air with no explanation whatsoever other than this is fantasy land. And I'm not really a fan of that. So when I saw that, or she's kicking, spears that get thrown up in the air, and she does like a little side kick and it goes like piercing like a bullet at somebody, it really kind of sucked me out because you had a good story here for the most part. Why would you muddy it up with those cheap elements, I guess? I understand that's part of a lot of Asian timepieces where they do have this Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style of just, defying gravity, but I don't like it. It's not aesthetically pleasing. It really sucks me out. And I just wasn't a fan of that part overall. Next, and my final real big dislike for this film, guys, was kind of the payoff and the pacing of things. I mean, yeah, we saw certain things happen, where she's going into battle as a woman, where she's defying the odds, where she's finding her inner chi, she's doing this all for her family. It's such a great message overall through and through, but I guess I just didn't get that impactful $200 million budget that we were all anticipating for. This was something that was really talked about for years, man. It was like ever since it got, announced last year, this was going to be a big, big deal. And I feel like the final outcome was just blah, just kind of plain Jane. And I do like the overall message, like I had said, and I talked to cinephiles, over the last day or so about the final outcome of everything, how it left me feeling. And I think the message is the only thing that I really took away from this whole thing. I think the execution was very, poorly done, especially with a large budget like this. So saying all of that, guys, my likes and my dislikes for this film, I gotta say that Mulan gets a solid 3.5 out of 5 for me, saying I probably would pick this up and add it to my collection because I think it's visually amazing. Once again, the message is on point and the actors did pretty good for what they were given. I just think that a lot of the scenes kind of outweigh me giving it even a 4 out of 5, and it probably won't last the testament of time as far as the better live action movies in the Disney live action roster. And I can't leave this review without saying, would I pay $30 again to see this film? Absolutely not. So on that front, guys, they definitely have to get their shit together over at Disney. And I understand it's a $200 million movie that you have to recoup during these COVID times, but that price point is absolutely ridiculous. Unless every single person renting this has a family of 4 or 5, it makes sense. But if it's just a person of 1 or 2 with my girlfriend watching it, it's not worth $15 each. Or if it is, I would have rather watched it in theaters. And even on a second last note, guys, this movie is PG-13, so I don't think it's gonna attract to the younger audience under ages 13 or hold their attention as it did to more adults like myself. All right, guys, have you seen Mulan yet? Do you plan to see it this weekend or wait completely when I believe it does get free streaming in December from Disney? Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy my review on Mulan 2020, please give me a thumbs up as well as hitting that subscribe and bell notification to always get notified about content like this. Till next time, guys, I'm gone. Peace.